Motivation Mondays. Hi, welcome to the Froggy Five. I'm your host, Jim Freilich, founder and managing partner of the Froggy Companies. And today I'm happy to be joined by Jonny Cattani from Sunrise Investment Capital. So Jonny, for those of you who don't know Jonny's been the host of his own podcast called Cash Flow Chronicles for quite some time now. He manages strategic partnerships for Sunrise Capital. They have been familiar with them for a long time. Used to listen to Kevin Bupp's podcast forever. And they oversee a large portfolio, over 200 million of assets under management of parking and mobile home parks. And they've been doing that for over 10 years now. And Jonny has a very diverse background relative to from being a stockbroker to having his own funds. Jonny, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Jim. It's great to be here.
Happy to see you. We're going to jump right into it. And I'm going to ask you how you came to be where you are, how you got into real estate, anything you might have had to overcome or persevere on your real estate journey. And then, kind of the why, like what motivates you in this area, any or all the above.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, as you kind of alluded there, a bit eclectic, right? I'm sure some people can relate to that. 33 years old, kind of, went through college, had no idea what I wanted to do. Like studied finance, right? But still was just, unsure. Had some other jobs, did some work for a family construction company, ended up in finance. And it, of course, stole my heart, right? Was a stockbroker, as you mentioned, for about 3.5 years for a discount brokerage. I have my 763. Very much enjoyed the public sector, liked working in the stock market, but did not like the corporate world. So I'm sure people can relate to that. So I left the corporate world, joined the tech startup world. I live in Salt Lake City, which has now been dubbed the Silicon Slopes. So we got a lot of tech startups that have popped out through here, some that some people may be familiar with. And unfortunately got laid off because of COVID. Yeah. They had to basically lay off almost the entire sales team. So got laid off there, took some time off to kind of really decide what I wanted to do. While I was a stockbroker, though, and I was working with all our high net worth individuals, through them, I discovered real estate investing. And this is right as syndications were like just starting to take off. This is like probably 2018. So, they weren't mainstream as they are now, right? Not a lot of people knew about them, but of course the ultra wealthy, high net worth, did. So learned about it through there, started reading books, listening to podcasts, ended up joining a team here locally that was, buying out of state, doing multifamily out of state, helped them scale and realized I had an affinity for, capital raising. That was kind of like, based on my skill set, right? My big kind of superpower is talking to people, networking. And through that, just found a mastermind group called Raise Masters. Was a member there for 2 years and really developed the skill to, go out and teach people about syndications, passive investing, and really just about putting your money to work for you, right? So many people, especially now, right? This kind of FIRE thing is taking off, right? Financial independence, retire early, and just helping people understand that is possible. And, there's a million ways to skin the cat. And, here are some ways that I know. If that works for you, great. Not, that's great too. Did some funds, ended up raising about $1 million on my own. And the economy kind of came to a slow, obviously, as we all know, right, with interest rates and everything like that. So ultimately ended up, obviously acquired a really great skill set. Knew Brian Spear, who you mentioned Kevin Bupp. He's kind of on the acquisition side. I knew Brian personally. He's the other co-founder of Sunrise and is more on the kind of equity investor relations side. They were looking to grow their investor relations team. So started there. It was great. Talked to him for like an hour on Friday. On Monday morning, I had an offer letter in my inbox. And we immediately, it was trial by fire. 1 week later, we launched the largest acquisition still to date at Sunrise. And, we raised, about $20 million in 6 weeks to close out the year. And, eventually they decided they wanted to start bringing on some partnerships and, doing some more strategic stuff to obviously help scale and move me over into that seat. And that's the Reader's Digest version of how I got here and how I got introduced to you. So here we are.
All right, great. Thanks for that background. Yeah. Funny, small world I've noticed as I've been in real estate investing and syndication. And a quick side story with Brian Spear. So I'll let you know that when we decided to create the Froggy X Factor portion of our business, which is essentially, there are several components to it, but because I have a technical longstanding background, I'm already consulting for different people, right? So I have fractional services. I saw the job that you are in right now pop up, contacted Sunrise and said, hey, Brian, I could do this job on a fractional basis before you go and hire somebody. And then I got on the phone with Brian, and after talking to me for a few minutes, he's like, you have a lot of stuff going on. We really need somebody that's focused just on this 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So
and it very much is. Yeah.
And it makes sense. Exactly. Yeah. It not the job you're in right now, but the investor relations. And I said, well, I've been doing a lot of investor relations, and why don't I, put my money where my mouth is. And so just a funny little coincidence there, but I'm glad you got the job. You deserved it way more than me. And happy to be doing business with you now as well. So
that is funny.
Raising that much money in that short period of time is amazing. Hey, thanks for having me on. If anybody else wants to find out more about what we're doing, please come to froggycompanies.com. Check out our 3 different business areas. We also have the Froggy Fund 1 that's now open for up to $18 million. We're going to be investing that $18 million across a diverse number of assets, cash flowing and ground up. And I'm really excited about this fund and really confident that we can outperform most of the other people out there in terms of what we invest in and how we do our due diligence and the type of partners we put together. So it's great talking to you, and see you next time.